Um, Each of us came here probably with one or two things really on our mind, and we're expecting them to know all the ins and outs and details of all these laws and all these instances. And I don't think any of us could be any more capable probably of answering all these questions than what they are. Okay, now to the point that while I'm here, I was interested that both of you mentioned in your introductory statements the SAVE, the tax that we currently have. It was established in 2008. It's a state penny that goes to every public school in the state in the approximate amount of $1,000 per student in that school system. Waverly Shell Rock has about 2,000 students, so we roughly get $2 million a year, by which we can either reduce property taxes directly, or we can reduce property taxes indirectly. And indirectly, I'm referring to the money that we've spent over the last few years to put new roofs on all of our buildings, to overcome the losses we had from the floods in 2008, was it? To build some new constructions, to add technology into our classes. These are all things that if we didn't have those SAVE funds coming to us, we would have to levy property taxes or do without them. And I think most of the property taxes, people that pay property tax in this area would just as soon not have any more property tax than what they've got right now. It would cost us approximately $1.25 per thousand on your tax bill to recover what we're getting from the SAVE fund right now. SAVE is totally a sales tax, and most people seem to appreciate that fact as opposed to property tax. If we don't renew for another 20 years this SAVE tax, it's going to come back and bite us with more property tax in the near future. So I know the House passed it almost unanimously a year ago, but with the change in the sessions, that is all lost now. You have to pass it again, right? And I know that the support is there. I've heard it. And the Senate, which did not take action on it last year, I really hope, Craig, that that is something we will get to this year. I really am leery of you mentioning anything about another penny to be combined in this one bill. These are separate issues.
Yeah.
You've got a penny for schools, okay, let's address that. You've got a penny you want to use for other purposes, let's address that in a separate bill. I don't want them together, please. Thank you.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're working on that. I've seen the bill already come to the committee, so it's rolling.
So in a big picture, Dennis, what I talked about, I also mentioned, can there be some property tax relief if, in fact, this additional penny, and you say keep them separate, I think they would have to be separate discussions, not that they couldn't both serve education though, okay, confirming SAVE, and then this additional 3/8, which I believe would actually be a penny, 3/8 of a cent in sales tax amounts to $180 million additional to the state of Iowa. So a full penny brings in $480 million, $500 million almost, depending on consumer goods and cost and all that stuff. So that discussion about SAVE, and as you and I have spoke before, I'm interested in it. In our rural communities, I think we do a fantastic job above and beyond in caring for our schools and the students. But I still want guardrails, and those guardrails usually come back because of what we hear that comes out of, I'll just name it Waukee, $4 million stadium with a Jumbotron. That's great. If that community wants to afford that and pay for it, that's fine, but don't take away from my rural community that's trying to patch the roof. So that's my guardrail comment on the SAVE, but just recently it's been I am thinking about SAVE along with this additional penny, and I can't believe I'm at this point. I'm saying, yeah, let's do another penny. It wasn't my intent. But I'm saying if it can be a neutral tax in the scheme of things, or if we add it to a sales tax, and then there's property tax relief. which, Bill, we've talked about. It reminds me, the League of Cities was all for, what is the additional money, the backfill? I'm under the understanding too, if you were gonna ask or had a question about it, I don't think it's gonna be, a discussion this year. I think it's gonna continue as it is. I don't know if Sandy's heard anything. I do caution people, cities, do not put this in the count on list. But again, if that is changed, taken away or whatever, you still gotta have a method or revenue to buy that next fire truck or do whatever. So, if backfill does go away or change, you gotta understand, we're also talking about how else can we do it, because I think that backfill could be more fair for the rural communities. It has worked as intended for some metropolitan areas, which have been fantastic and a boon to them. But some of our rural communities have actually fallen short with it.
My comment to that is basically though, you're taking away the backfill after the budget's been certified.
Yeah, we're not,
So
no,
So if you do that, it really is a retroactive thing.
yeah,
And if we don't plan for it, then if we have to make up that $200,000 that's in the Waverly,
yeah,
that Waverly loses, and the school districts have their dollars and everything else, then if you wanna spend that, and you count on it, and it's not there, you have to do something else.
Yeah.
It's really just not fair to do it as a surprise. So if you're gonna pass it, it should be
Yeah.
something that's next year's. But-
so, yeah, exactly. So that's where I wanted to go with this, is that if we're going to get away from backfill, it needs to be a step down, methodically done, have some conversation with the cities and say, is this a 20, 40, 100%? Is it 3 years or 7 years? And then in the same step, we're stepping down from backfill, we're stepping up with some other, maybe it's out of this penny, I don't,
It's just planning, it's just the idea of planning.
I
being
agree.
able to know what's going on.
I hollered at my own folks that were talking about it, saying you can't do this to us because you pull the rug out from underneath us in our smaller communities, and we've got no recourse. And in some cases, the backfill, as I am learning, it was never intended to be a forever. So some communities took the ball, ran with it as, hey, we've got it this year, let's use it to repair streets. You repair streets, you pay for them, next year comes up, do some more if you got the money. Some communities may have used it to buy a fire truck, $500,000, so now they're relying on that, unfortunately, to make payments for them for that fire truck. But again, if we, again, it's gotta be a step down over time, and then what are we gonna fill it back with? So, no, I'm with you, I'm trying to pull some reins on some of this.